What is up? How's everybody doing after the whole Facebook shutdown today? I see we got most people are on YouTube actually, so that's cool. Awesome. All right, let's get it. Adam Alfred says, "Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. Let's do it." Fantastic. Okay, so guys, what is up? For all of you guys who don't know who we are, my name is Chris Schroeder. I am the Client Success Director for the Electronics Reselling Program, the program that is now responsible for about 211 10K superstars. So, and then right next to me, or I guess over here, where my thumb is David Kosciuszko, the founder of the program. Dave, I'll let you talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started with the whole teaching tonight.
Hey guys, good to see everybody. Let's see. So me and Chris, we help people start and scale an electronics reseller business. I've been in this business now for about 10 years. I started this back in about 2012. And then in 2016, began teaching people basically the business model. Should I just kind of start getting into a little bit about the business, Chris, and like how we do it while we're kind of waiting for everybody to get on, or maybe?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, let's just put it in the simplest terms. A lot of people think that, actually, Dave, what do a lot of people think about this business? Like, what do they think that we actually do? Let's start with the misconceptions first, if that's okay.
That's a good question. Why don't I actually do this? Can I go ahead and just share my screen, Chris, so I can kind of show like a little bit about what we do?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. So what we do is we place ads that say cash for phones, and we buy phones from the local public, from people that respond to our ads. And we usually buy them at about 40 to, sorry guys, I'm trying to share my screen, but it's giving me a hard time. 1 second. There we go.
Adam is asking in the comments, do you guys buy wholesale? Actually, that's something we're about to explain, but the quick answer is no, we don't. We don't buy wholesale.
What we do is, like, for example, here's some of the items we sold. Here's a Note 20 Ultra we bought for $470. We sold that for $600. Here is a Note 20 Ultra we bought for $490. We sold that for $670. Here's an Xbox Elite. This was just a wireless controller. We bought that for $40. We sold that for $90. Here's a Galaxy S20 Ultra we bought for $300. Sold for $420. Here is an iPhone 7. Bought that for $15. We sold it for $85. Here's an iPhone 6 we bought for $35, and I have no idea how this happened. Somehow we managed to sell it. Oh, actually, it looks like there was 3 phones that sold. So we paid $15 for this iPhone 7, $35 for this iPhone 6, and $20 for this iPhone 7. And so $35, $70, and we sold that for $225. So still pretty good profit. One of the things I really love is selling cracked items. And as you can see here, what we do is we don't repair anything. We just buy them as is, and we sell them as is. So I didn't repair any of these phones here. We just bought them like they were, cracked. And we appraise them on what they're going to sell for, cracked on eBay, and then I just sell them on eBay. And that's kind of how it works. So usually we're working with, about 40 to 60% profit margins. Here's a laptop I personally bought. We bought that for $11.50, and it sold for $16.35. So that was a pretty nice profit on that. Even after eBay fees and shipping, we'll make about $300 profit on that, I think. Here's a Nintendo 3DS I bought from someone. We paid $10 for that. That sold for $110. Here's an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I don't know how we pulled this off, but somehow we bought it for $190, and that sold for $740. Now, that's not a usual profit margin. That's pretty excessive. That was obviously a massive score. It made something like $500 profit on that. But normally, and to make up for it, here's one that one of us overpaid for somehow. I don't know what happened with this. I think I messed up here. I must have accidentally priced this wrong when I was listing. Whoops. That should have sold for about $300. Just realized the mistake that I made. these are all just recent, as you can see. This is September 27th, and I'm showing September 28th, October 1st. And what we do is we run ads on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook was shut down today, but it's back up, fortunately. And like this ad right here that says "We Buy Phones," we run that as what's called a paid ad on Facebook, and then people will send us messages. Now, I don't think we were able to respond to any of our messages today, though, unfortunately, because Facebook was down. But let me just see what came in so far today.
Going to spend all of your budget by the end of the day.
Looks like we've got a ton of messages that nobody could respond to. We'll have a lot of. I'm sure we'll be buying a lot of phones tomorrow. But these are all just messages from today. That's from the ads that we run, and these are all people that want to sell us a phone. For example, here's a guy here that's got an iPhone 12 Pro, and looks like we didn't finish responding to him. So I'm going to actually finish responding to this guy, and while I'm doing that, I'll show you guys how we figure out what a phone is worth. Is that cool, Chris, if I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like Alan wasn't able to, or the guy wasn't able to respond because Facebook went down at 11:30.
Yeah, so let me see if I can respond now and just see if maybe I can close a couple deals. Let's see, iPhone 12 Pro. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to eBay, and we're going to do what's called an appraisal. Okay, so I'm going to type in iPhone 12 Pro smartphone, and I'll type in T-Mobile as well. Now, I'm probably going to appraise this as a bad ESN. Just for the heck of it, I might as well do the right thing. Let me just ask him if it's fully paid off. Probably won't respond this late, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if he'll respond while on the live, but we can do the appraisal anyway. So, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going down here to sold listings on the left. Okay, we're going to click on sold listings so that the number should be in green. That means that these items actually sold on eBay. Okay, we only want to go by the sold listings because that's what people actually are paying for the items. So we got one iPhone 12 Pro, 128 gigabyte here for $690. That's a pre-owned one. We get another one. Nope, that's a Pro Max. We get another one here for $660. We got one here for $500. That's interesting. So that one's a lot lower. Let's click on that and see why did that sell so low.
Probably cracked.
Interesting. It is not. It's actually good condition. It looks like this person might have lowballed themselves. So this is what we call an out of the ordinary sale. That's where one sale is extremely low or extremely high compared to the rest of the sales. So we're actually just going to disregard this one because I think this person didn't realize the value of the phone and they listed it too low, not knowing. So because if we look, we got one here. Oh, that's a finance. That's a Pro Max. Never mind. Let's see if we can find another Pro. Got another Pro here for $800. Another one for $700. So that $500 is really, really low. So I think it's going to sell mostly about $700. Now, that's if it's got a clean ESN. If it's a bad ESN or if it's financed, it looks like it's going to sell for about $600. This one's got scratches. So, it looks like the guy saw the message. Let's see if he responds. So if it's not paid off, I'm going to offer him $430 because it's going to sell for about $600. If it is paid off, I'll offer him like $450 because it'll sell for like $700. And let's see what happens. I wonder if I should respond. I'm just going to make him an offer. I don't normally do this, but since we're live, I kind of want to see if I can get some interaction. So I'm just going to make an offer on it anyways. See what he says. So I made him the offer as if it wasn't paid off anyway. So this will give me some room if it is paid off to negotiate. While he's doing that, maybe I'll just hit a couple messages that we haven't done yet. You guys can see that. This is a Samsung Glaze 9S. That's interesting. Still good. I bought a new Galaxy. I think that's what he meant to say. Galaxy S9. He called it a glazed 9S, but I don't think that's what he's meant. I'm just gonna. We'll get a lot of messages here. Oh, my employee speaks Spanish, so that one's in Spanish. I'm not gonna respond to that one.
That's some ads in Spanish.
Yeah, I run a $5 a day Spanish ad just to get some leads. Believe it or not, 90% of the people that respond speak English to that ad. Surprisingly. Okay, let me just stop and see if there's any questions while we're kind of waiting on that.
No questions yet.
Adam says, "Geez, y'all are killing it." Hey, thanks for coming on, Adam. Appreciate it. See if there's any Facebook questions so far. Do you guys have any questions or comments? Is there anything you kind of would like to ask about any of this, like the ads or like selling phones or buying the phones or anything in that nature? Now, I run paid ads to get leads like this. So this is something that we teach our students. Like we help them implement this and get it set up, and we show them how to scale the ads. If you're brand new, we have some videos on our Facebook group that show how to get leads for free by like posting in Facebook groups. You can post ads in Facebook groups saying that you buy phones, and you may get some people to respond that way as well. I think, Chris, do we have a video in the group on that if people want to check that out?
We do. However, I have noticed the Facebook group strategy is not working as effectively as it used to, and people are getting banned for that since Facebook group posts are now going into Marketplace.
Oh, interesting. Even in discussion now?
Huh?
I don't think it does it if you put it in discussion.
No, it still does because it asks you if it's a buying or selling item, unfortunately. So paid ads are becoming more and more the way, unfortunately.
Okay, so this guy responded back, the one with the Galaxy S9, that he called it a glazed 9S. So he said yes, and it looks like he's sending me a picture of it right now. I don't think that's actually a Galaxy S9, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
That's a Note 9. S9.
Yeah. It looks like it's cracked on the back.
There, yep.
Okay. So let's take a look. So let's do a Galaxy S9 cracked. It looks like those aren't selling for much. So this one's sold for 70. That sold for 87. So for these, usually if something's only going to sell for like 60 or 70 bucks, I only do like 10 bucks on it typically. So
Mike Bigbeard has a question. What is the reason phones that aren't paid off sell for less? Good question.
That's a good question, because what will happen is once they stop paying, then the phone will get blocked and that person can't use it. So that's going to reduce the value, because if they can't use the phone, then that reduces the amount of buyers. Now, people will still buy those phones from us all the time, and we'll sell them as about ESN. But what they do is they'll ship them overseas, and they'll use them as unlocked phones overseas. And that's what they do with those. So they're still very sellable, but they will get a little less money because it reduces the buyer pool from them. I'm going to give him 15 because the front screen's not cracked. And let's see what he says on that. And did that other guy, the other guy hasn't responded back yet on the other one. Let's see if this guy says anything. Someone says, how do you scale and buy with the budget of 400? So did you mean you only have 400 to buy phones?
If you have 400, that's actually a pretty good starting point.
How do you know how to price the phone? So I'm not sure if you were here just a minute ago, but what we do is we go on eBay and we do what's called an appraisal. So I actually just did it with this phone that I'm negotiating with this guy right now. So, see, that's a Galaxy S9. Okay, I type in Galaxy S9 smartphone, it's cracked, and I look at what sold on eBay. And what I'm trying to find is 3 recent sales for the exact model phone in the exact condition, and that gives me a really good idea of what something will sell for if I sell it on eBay. So like right here, we got a Galaxy S9 with a cracked screen that sold for $68. Now these are all S9 pluses, but this is another cracked screen, S9, that sold for $87. And here's another one right here, S9 cracked, and that sold for $80. So there's my 3 comparables. They're all pretty recent. This one, last one sold October 3rd, so they're all within the last couple days. So I know for sure I'm going to get probably at least $70 for this, I think, if I sell it. Now with eBay is going to charge me 13% in fees. So I'm going to net about $60 on that 70. So that's why I only want to pay $10 because I want to make it at least a $50 profit. But I think it's actually going to sell for about 90 to 100 since the front screen's not cracked. And that's why I offered him 15 on that because I'll probably get 90 to 100 bucks on that. So I might even go up to 20 on that for him if I have to get the deal. But let's see what he says about this. I kind of have a feeling it's just sitting around now and it's cracked because he just told me he bought a brand new Galaxy S10. Let's see if he responds. The other guy's kind of waiting to respond too for the other message, so we'll see. Oscar says, thank you guys for all the knowledge you share. Thank you for watching, Oscar. Is this helpful for you guys to kind of see this stuff? Like if like to actually kind of do some hands-on work? Do you guys like seeing this where, you know, I close deals live or do the appraisals live and, you know, kind of show you like a behind the scenes peek? Do you guys enjoy watching this or would you rather us do more of like a presentation style type of thing? Love to hear your feedback if you want to type in the comments anything. O2 says only has 400 to buy phones. Yeah, so what you can do, O2, is I'm not sure your name. Sorry, it's just showing up as O2 on YouTube. What you can do is you can ask friends and family for this. This is what me and Chris have done personally, and what we've done with a lot of students is that you can ask them for old phones lying around in drawers. Like, look at this Galaxy S9 here that I just appraised for this guy. Think about that. That phone is like, I don't know, 4 years old now. Some people you know might have this phone just lying around in a drawer, and even cracked, it's still worth 70 or 80 bucks. So what I would do is I would start off just by asking some friends and family if they have any phones that they don't want anymore that are just sitting around. They'll probably just give them to you. You know, like this guy, I'm going to give him 10 or 15 bucks. But if your family, you know, so it sounds like he's not very happy. He says $15. That's crazy. I paid this $600. How did it go down to $15? Now, it was a Galaxy S9, correct? Oops. So I want to show a little humility here and just make sure that I have the right phone. Can't do 60. And I'm going to be very transparent. I'm going to tell him I'll be able to sell it for $60.
Notice how honest he's being about all of this. This is how we are too. Like, you know, I'll tell people what something will sell for.
Yeah, and you know, some people I just really like being honest because that's just kind of like how I like to do business, because I found when the customer, now we'll see obviously how he reacts to this, but when I'm honest with the customers, I tell them, I mean, they might sell it on their own, but if they were going to sell on their own, they probably wouldn't have messaged me, right? they're usually the type of people who click on our ads aren't the type of people that are going to sell it themselves. They're the type of people who would go to a pawn shop or a fast cash place. So they want to get rid of the item. So, oh, there we go. So as you can see, he's got another one he wants to sell me. So as you can see, being really honest and transparent, people, it works because they appreciate that. And this is funny because look at, he got upset almost $15. He said it was crazy, and he said he paid $600 for it, but yet he still accepted my offer the way I just negotiated this like that, right? Okay, and he said he's got another one. Now, I don't think I'm going to be too interested in that phone, so I think I might have to turn him down on that particular item. That looks like a little too low end for me.
I would just be like, bring in whatever you have, you know? That's what I'm always like. After you close the first deal, I'm just like, bring in whatever you have, man. I'll see what I can do.
It says, sure, I got more too. So let's see. So what I like to do is I always like to kind of praise someone for working with me, because that just, when I show them someone that I appreciate the fact that they're willing to work with me, usually that kind of solidifies the deal, and it makes my customer feel good too, right? So I'm going to say, okay, sounds good. I appreciate you working with me. That way he doesn't feel like I beat him or something in the negotiation. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to be very honest with him too. Buy that particular model if you would like. So I'm going to say, okay, sounds good. I appreciate you working with me.
He's got a video coming now.
Looks like he's got a pile of stuff here. Appreciate you working with me on that. And that's the funny thing about this. You think being transparent like that and being so honest, it would turn them away. 9 times out of 10, they actually have more stuff to sell me because of that. Say, okay, sounds good. Appreciate you working with me on that. I may not be able to buy that particular model, but if you'd like to bring anything else to sell when you come down with the S9, I'd be happy to check it out. Would that work for you? And let's see what he says about that. Someone says, so if you buy a cracked screen phone, would you just sell it? Yeah. Nope, I don't fix any phones that I sell. If I buy that phone for him for $15, I'm just going to sell it just as is like that. And I'll probably get about $80 or $90, I think, with just a cracked back is what I'll probably end up selling that for, I think. Let's see what he responds to this one right here. That other guy still hasn't responded back. Looks like he hasn't seen the last message with my offer. And he's, oh, no, still hasn't responded yet. He should be in a second.
Another person asked, how long on average do your resales take?
Most of my stuff sells super fast, believe it or not. I'll list stuff usually in 1 or 2 days, and then it sells, it sells within 1 or 2 days after listing it. The thing is, the only reason things don't sell is if they're not appraised properly. Yep. So, for example, if I listed this, like let's say I did the appraisal wrong, and let's say I messed up and I was looking at the S9 Plus instead of the S9. So I thought this was going to sell, let's say more for like 100, 120. And if I try to list this for 100, 120, and that's why it wouldn't sell, because I have it too high. But then let's say if I drop the price to 70, which is which is a correct appraisal on it, it would sell very quickly. So most of the stuff that's appraised properly and listed at the right price will sell very fast, usually within just a matter of a couple days for me, typically.
I think that guy responded. Yep.
He says, where's your store? I live in Brockton, Mass. Okay. I always love to follow things up with a closing question, right? So I'm giving him an answer, responding by saying, I'm at 1530 Mineral Spring Ave in North Providence, and I give him the hours. We'll be open from 11 to 5 a.m. tomorrow, 11 to 5 tomorrow. And then I'd like to follow, when did you want to come down? Because that kind of keeps the lead in the conversation and keeps him engaged and responding. It says, drying there going to cost me 15 just to sell a phone. That's far. Now, this is a little tough because this guy's about an hour away from me. So I can definitely understand that driving an hour to make $15 is going to be tough. That can be a little challenging. Usually the leads are usually a lot closer to me, but let's just see what he says. I'm going to say, I totally understand. You still want to come down? Sometimes they still do.
Yeah, I've had somebody drive all the way from Houston to sell me a $50 phone before. So some people do it, and that's an hour away from me.
I'll watch this video and see what else he's got here. Maybe I'll see a phone that's worth good money and maybe can add to it. I mean, this is a tricky one because this isn't really big value phone. And it looks like these other stuff are really low quality that he's got. He's got a Galaxy S3.
Oh, S3.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to really be able to buy any of that other stuff, unfortunately. So I might have to let this one go, if, now if you guys, I don't drive to anybody, but I mean, if you wanted, you would make about, $60 to $70 on this deal driving. So if you were willing to drive to that person for 45 minutes to make $60 to $70, if that's worth it for you, then you could do this deal if you wanted. I'm at a point where I'm not willing to do that. So I only do business if people just come to me and that's it. We'll see what happens with it though. Someone says, what should I post on Craigslist to catch more people's eyes? That's a good question. So it's really more about posting more often. And I would post in the wanted by owner section and the local community section. And I teach our students something I call the Craigslist cheat code method. And it's basically where you copy kind of the model of somebody else's ad and you just change the wording around a little bit for phones. Like let's say someone has an ad to buy junk cars. You take their ad, but you just change the words for phones and electronics and you make an ad with that. And you could do this over and over again and post like 2 ads a day on Craigslist, and that should get you some phones. Now, I highly recommend paid Facebook ads are far better for getting leads. But if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend any money for advertising, that's a great way to get started is, post some ads on Craigslist like that. Someone says, I'm new to this. How much does eBay charge besides the 13%? And where else can we post besides eBay? So I highly recommend eBay as my recommended source because things just sell so quickly on eBay. And I get good money for it. I wouldn't be posting phones like on Facebook Marketplace or local because it's very hard to sell damaged phones that way. Like eBay, as you can see, people are like, this screen doesn't even work. It's all cracked up and it's an old S9 and still $70. That's pretty good money, right? So don't be afraid of eBay fees because we factor that on the price. You got to remember, I'm only going to give this guy $15. Now, mine's going to sell higher for $70 because it's just the back is cracked. This one's got a cracked LCD, which lowers the value a lot. So mine's probably going to sell more like this, like $87, even though that's an S9 Plus. This has a cracked LCD. It's going to be more around the 80 to 90 range, and I'm only buying it for $15. So eBay fees are only going to cost me $10, and maybe with shipping it cost me even $15. So if I sell it for $90 minus $15, that's $75 still. So I'm still going to make $60 clear profit after everything, after shipping, after eBay fees. That's $60 in just a matter of a couple minutes. And this is a low quality phone. This is like not a great deal. This is a very, very low quality deal that, I just closed here. But it's nice if you don't have a lot of capital. These type of deals are great because you turn $50, $15 now into $60, right? And you can now flip that into bigger items. And that's a great way if you don't have a lot of money that you can kind of like flip your way up, I guess, by starting with just, Chris made a video once where he actually turned $5 into like $1,300 in 2 weeks using strategies like that.
Absolutely did. I bought an iPod and started.
If you want that case study, you can just leave a comment, and we can actually have our team send out that case study to you if that's something you want to see. Frank says stepped away for a while during Corona time, coming back. Are the main places Craigslist, Facebook groups, and paid Facebook ads? Yeah, that's what we see. Where most of our students are getting most of their leads from. Really, paid Facebook ads are killing it for us. I mean, that's probably our number one way. But Craigslist and Facebook groups are still good for the free ads. I personally only use paid Facebook ads for my leads just because they're so effective. I don't bother with the free ads anymore. But if you're new and you're just getting started, and you don't have a lot of capital, Craigslist and Facebook groups are a great way to get started. So Oscar says, good stuff, Chris and Dave. Live streams are so informational. We're able to see the full process, makes it easier to learn things again. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Billy Brutus says, what do you do if you buy a new model phone and find out it's blacklisted? That's a great question, Billy. So what we do is when we buy a phone, we use this site called SickW, and we actually check the ESN when we buy it. Now, some phones we just buy as a bad ESN, so we don't really care if it's blacklisted. We'll buy. I mean, we don't want to purposely buy stolen phones, but for example, if it's not paid off or something, we'll buy it as a bad ESN and sell it as a bad ESN. So let me see if I can find an example of one of the items that I sold recently that has a bad ESN. Like, for example, see this Moto G right here? This had a bad ESN. We sold that for $95, and we just put check ESN in the title, and it actually had a bad ESN, and we just sold it as is with a bad ESN. And we actually said in the description it has a clean ESN, so that's a problem. I hope they that was a little mistake there. Slip. Oops. Gotta fix that one now. So don't do that. Don't say it has a clean ESN when it doesn't. That's not a good idea. That was a mistake. We didn't do that on purpose. Let's try that. Here's another one we sold with the bad ESN. That's an S20, and that was for Sprint. This one's not paid off, so we put check ESN in the title. And you can see in the description, this is a line that we use. We say the phone, this is what it was, the other one was supposed to say. The phone is listed in the not working category because it has a bad ESN, which means it cannot be activated on any carrier. So we sell those as is, just like that. Frank says, budget for paid Facebook ads. That's a really good question. So we start our students off at about $5 a day because we want to make sure that you feel comfortable closing the leads first. You want to make sure you also, you're able to do the appraisals and you know how to buy the different items, right? Like you want to learn how to buy MacBooks and cameras, because when you're running paid Facebook ads, you want to make the most of the money you're spending. So you want to be able to buy everything. So we start you off at like $5 a day. And then as you get better, then scale you up to 5, 10, 15, 20. I personally spend about $65 a day, but I also average between $30,000 to $40,000 a month in sales. But it takes a while for you to get to that point. We definitely wouldn't start you off at $60 a day, because that would just be way too much spend if you weren't ready to close the leads yet. So we want to make sure you really can handle that ad spend. You get comfortable, and as you get comfortable and you build your capital up, then we spend more. We show you how to spend more money, so that way you're able to increase your sales. So this guy says, I don't know. No worries. If you have some other items. So I'm going to just see if I can get this guy to sell me something else to make it worth the trip. Like Even if I could put like, $50 in his pocket somehow with some other stuff that he's got, then he'll, it'll be worth it for him to drive the hour down. So I said, no worries. If you have some other items, I would be happy to give a quote on them to see if it would be worth the trip down for you. Is that cool? And
the biggest thing here, guys, is just getting. You see all those leads that he hasn't even been able to respond to yet. Like that's the biggest part of all of this is just getting leads in. That's the goal.
Well, I wouldn't say that's the biggest part, but it's definitely a big part. But it's also important to be able to appraise the phones and give an accurate offer, and just know how to respond to the customers as well.
Yep.
So definitely though, without the leads though, then none of that's possible, right? So that's definitely a huge part is getting the leads in for sure.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're coming to the end of this. If we don't have any more questions, we'll talk a little bit about our program and see if anybody wants to work with us. All right, guys. So basically, what we do every now and then is we'll invite very specific people to come in and work with me and Dave, and then also with the mastermind group that we have that has over 1,500 people in it. So basically, here's how this works, right? You're going to work with Dave and I. I'll help you set your ads up, all of that, right? This is all included inside of the electronics reseller program. The goal with this program is to help you get to $10,000 in sales, which is about $3,000 to $4,000 in profit within 6 months. So 180 days. That's our goal for you, right? So if any of you guys are interested in either starting, growing, or scaling, we help with all three. You're in an electronics reselling business, let us know. Type apply in the comments below, and we'll reach out to you. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to grab the link. I'm going to go grab the link real quick, Dave. If you want to, go ahead and talk a little bit about the rest of that.
That's good. Oh, that guy responded back, by the way. He screenshotted the directions and sent it to me. It says 54 minutes to drive to you.
Oh.
It sounds like he's still on the fence, though. Like he wants to do it, but he's not sure. Anyway, sorry. I kind of had some fun closing deals live with everybody. So, if you guys are interested, what we could do, if you type apply, we can actually schedule a phone call if you like with me, and we can see if this will be a good fit for you. If you'd like to work with us to see if we can help you grow this, if you'd like some help with that, just type apply, and one of our team members will reach out to you. And then if it's a good fit, we can schedule a call and see if you'd like to work with us in the program. Someone asked a question. Oscar, I said, can you send me the case study, please? Yep, we can get that out to you.
Yeah, let me send it in the comments real quick.
I think Chris is gonna put that for you, Oscar, in the comments, the case study. Billy asked a good question. He said, so just list on eBay if it's blacklisted as a bad ESN. Yes. Yep. But you can't say bad ESN on the title, Billy. So you want to check ESN when you list it. The words bad ESN aren't allowed on eBay, but they do allow you to put it in the description. So you can say bad ESN in the description. Just in the title, you want to say check ESN instead of bad ESN, and that's exactly how you would sell it, though. And someone else asked if they could get the case study. I think it was
I just dropped it in the comments everywhere.
Right.
Cool.
Great. Well, thank you guys for coming tonight. And Chris, did you have any last things that you wanted to say?
No, I mean, other than if you guys are looking to, really start or grow, let us know. Hit the apply button that I dropped here in the comments, and we'd love to work with you guys. Talk to you guys next week.